Hey everyone, Mr. Voikin here, and all the doors are done. So you can see I got my garage doors, pocket doors, bifold doors, swing doors, everything's labeled, and it's going to be easy to find. I just need to turn these into block drawings so I can easily pull them into an architectural floor plan drawing when we get there. So right now we're going to move into windows. So I'm just going to go ahead and copy a couple things and move it over. So copy. I'm going to copy just one of these little door frames and that word, and I'll move it over this way. It just keeps it in line, looks a lot nicer. So looks like somewhere around here to get past those doors up top. So we'll say 15,000. The distance that it goes over doesn't really matter. Now, this isn't a swing door. We're going to be looking at windows, and in particularly to begin with, we'll start with a fixed window. Okay, so a fixed window is a window that does not open. And this is the window frame. Just like we have a door frame, we have a window frame. Now, the only difference is that when we're looking at a door frame, you can see that the width is 50 and the depth of that is 100 because the thickness of an interior wall is 100 millimeters. But the thickness of an exterior wall is actually 150 millimeters. It's a thicker wall, and that way it's able to be load bearing, which means that it can take the weight and the load that is being brought down on that wall from the floor above or the roof. Now, so what we need to do is stretch this up. Now, if I grab the outside corner, and I'm just going to pull that outside corner up. So what you want to do is grab it on this little line right here and just stretch straight up so you see that green line, and just type 50 and enter. I've now made it 50 longer. So when I hover over top of this corner grip right here, you can see the width is 50 and now it's 150. Okay, I'm going to switch here to my construction layer, and whoa, that is on the construction layer. It wasn't, but I switched it over there by accident. So, okay, now this is going to be a 610 millimeter wide window. So I'm going to make a construction line going that way at 610. And I'm going to do it again right here at 610. Okay, and now I'm just going to copy that block from this corner over to that corner. And now we need to sort of illustrate a fixed window. So a fixed window, again, is one that cannot open. So we're going to just put 3 lines in the middle. So, switch back to the object layer. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go from this point right here, which is the geometric center, to the geometric center. So we're actually drawing the window sort of into the frame, and that's going to sort of symbolize that it's locked in place and can't move. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to offset that line by 20, and I'll go 20 up and 20 down. So basically that is my fixed window at 610, and I can just go copy this thing and move it over, what was it, 15,000 I believe. That should just put it over in the right spot there. Beautiful. Okay, so that is our fixed window at 610 millimeters. All right, well, let's move on to our next 2 windows. They're going to be a single hung and a double hung window. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy this. We're going to start off again with a 610 window. I'm just going to move it up. And in this case, I'm moving up, I don't know, 1,000 sounds good. Okay, actually don't know why these names are offset. I guess, did I have the doors offset down there? Yeah, I did. Sort of looks funny there. I'm just going to move these down a little bit, keep them in line with that somewhat. That looks better. Okay, so I copied that once and it went up 1,000, so I'm going to copy it again, and we're going to go up 1000 again. Okay, and this one is going to be a single hung, all caps. Okay, and this one's going to be a double hung. All right, so here's a picture of a single hung and a double hung window. So this is a window that can slide up and down. Okay, so with the single hung, the top panel right there, that top window is fixed in place, and the bottom window can move up and down. And with a double hung, both of them can move up and down. So this allows you to have an opening at the top of the window or an opening at the bottom of the window, or completely closed. Okay, now remember what I said just a few minutes ago, where we sort of symbolized the window being fixed in place by running it past and into the window frame. So what we're going to do here with the single hung is we're just going to say, okay, well, let's make one of them so they are movable. So we're just going to grab it, instead of locking it, pushing it into the frame, we're just going to drag that back in there like that. So it's like there's one panel between here and here that would be the fixed one, and then this one right here between that point and here would be the one that can move. Okay, so that would just be a way to symbolize a single hung window. Now, many architects would possibly draw these types of windows in different ways. Okay, so this is not a working drawing where we're actually going to send it to somebody to build the window. This is just a drawing that needs to look and represent the type of window that it is. So whatever format you decide to use, as long as you stick with that consistently, that's what really matters. So that being said, if we were using that same theory, I'm just going to take these lines that are right here, and I'm going to move those in like so. And I'll do the same thing right there. And now, because both of these windows here, all these lines are not protruding into the frame, that would again just sort of symbolize that both of those panels were able to move up and down. Okay, the next window that we're going to do is going to be a slider window. Okay, so we are going to just again copy this window, and we'll move it up 1000 or 10,000. 1000 is good. Okay, and a slider window is a window that moves from side to side. So first of all, I'm just going to change this window to a slider window. And essentially what I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw a line down the middle of this. So L, okay, and I'm going to draw it from here to here. And then I'm going to trim that on one side and on the other side. So you can see I have two windows that can sort of slide side to side now. Now in this case, this would be a double slide window. If I only want to make a single slide window, that means that one of the windows is fixed in position and the other one can slide. So if I wanted to make a single slide, I would just click on these lines right here, and I just grab that and stretch it 25 millimeters, which brings it into the middle of our panel. Okay, and that's easy to change. So in this case, this panel on this side would be fixed in position as symbolized by the two lines going into the frame, and this panel right here would be able to move. All right, so just to show you what that looks like, this would be an example of a slider window. So it's unclear at this point whether this window can move back and forth on both sides, or it's just fixed in one position on one side and the right side is sliding. But in any case, this would be a example of a slider window. Okay, so we have our fixed window right here, which just doesn't move, and then these three windows right there, these are our sliding windows. The single hung is a single panel that can slide up and down. The double hung are both panels sliding up and down, and a standard slider window would slide side to side, and that could have two sliding panels, or one of them can be fixed. Now, the next type of windows that we're going to look at are going to be the ones that sort of swing out. So these are three examples. We have a hopper window, and the hopper window swings sort of down and into your house. The awning window swings up and out of the house, and a casement window swings sort of to the side and out of the house. Okay, so we're going to start off with an awning window, then the hopper, and finally the casement window. All right, so same thing. What I need to do is copy these windows. Okay, now because we're going to have one panel that's sort of moving and one panel that doesn't, and depending on whether it's the inside or the outside, I think I'll copy this double hung one right here. So copy, and we'll grab that and we'll bring it up like this. So I believe I was going up 1,000, so that should be 2,000 because I'm going up 2, and I'll say 3,000 and 4,000. Okay, so I should have 3 of those double hung windows copied right there, and this one is not going to be the double hung. This will be the awning window. This one right here is going to be the hopper style window, and finally the one up top is going to be our casement. Come on. Casement window. Okay, so the awning window, we said that swings outwards. So that means this one is on the outside right here is sort of going to be able to move, which means we'll just sort of pretend that this one is sort of locked in place. So I'm going to move that into the frame, 25. Okay, and now to show that it's moving outwards, I'm going to take our window and I'm going to sort of draw a hidden line showing that it pushes out. So we'll take the line off of this point right here. I'll go out 200 and I'll slide over this way. I could type 610, or remember I can just go hover over that point, and that will give me a indicating line of where it goes. And I'm just going to copy that, or not copy, select that, change the line type to dashed, and I found that a scale of about 5 seems to work. It doesn't look great here, but when we go over to like an A3 drawing and we sort of bring it in and scale it to the proper size, it ends up looking pretty good like that. Okay. So that is our awning window, and our hopper window is now going to be the same thing, except it's going to, swing into the house. So I will take the outside one and sort of say it's fixed by moving it 25 into the frame. And I'm just going to do the same thing right here. I'm just going to draw a line coming down 200 over 610 and back up the 200 to that point. And again, I will highlight those, change it to a dash type, and change the scale to 5. Okay, and if the scale doesn't work in our layout, when we go to print, we can always easily change that. Okay, now I'm just going to make this look a little nicer, by grabbing this 610 and pulling it out of the window right there. So that looks pretty good. I'll go down, say 200. Okay. And this one right here, I'm just going to move it up again just to make it look sort of in line with everything. So it seems to be going up about 150. That looks better. Okay, and this casement window, well, a casement window is one that sort of swings out. Okay, so in this case, we're going to say I have this window right here and the whole thing is going to swing out. So I'm just going to take a line off of here and go out 610, 610, whoops, 610. That is definitely not 610. Come on. So I'll go that way, 610. And now I'm going to make an arc. So remember, I'm going to use the start and radius. And remember, it goes in a counterclockwise direction. So start and radius. And again, I'm just going to take those, change it to a dashed line with a scale of 5. And there we go. There is our casement window, our hopper window, awning window, slider window, double hung window, single hung window, and fixed window. All right, so let's take a look at some other parts of the window that we haven't drawn yet, in particular the sill and the stool. So the sill right here is sort of under right at the base of the window, and it extends out past the house. It gives a decorative, aesthetic look to it, as well as providing sort of protection from the rain above getting in and behind the siding material that's right here. And notice that the sill is on an angle. And it's on an angle so that when water does hit it, it's going to roll off the sill and fall down to the ground. Okay, on the inside of the house, we have the stool right here. And this is just a piece of wood, or it could be tile, or something that provides a flat area. And it's partly aesthetics, but it also provides a place to put small little ornaments and things like that. So let's just quickly add a little bit more detail to our drawing, just to make it look good. Okay, so I'll grab this, we'll slide that over to there, and we'll make one here on the fixed window. So I'll go to my object layer, I'll zoom in a little bit, and we'll use a line. And we'll come from the edge, coming over 50, and we'll go up 20. And I'll do the same thing on the other side. And these dimensions are not really that important as long as it's, again, consistent throughout your drawings. Okay, and I just joined that one side over here to the other side. So again, that was out over 50, up 20. And then at the bottom here, we'll just make this sill come into the house a little bit at 20, over 610, and back to that point. Okay, now I want to put that same detail on the other windows that I've already made. So I'm going to use the copy function, and I'm quickly just going to grab those two and that and that. And we'll just grab a point of where we're going to grab it. I'll just use that end point right there, and I'll just keep moving it up here and sort of placing it onto that same point each time. And I'll just quickly add that detail to all of my windows. And there we go. Beauty. All right, now that we have our 7 different types of windows all drawn with a width of 610 millimeters, there are 6 other widths that we need to draw. Now, these are, it seems like that's going to be a lot of windows to draw, and it actually is, but it's not as painful as you think. In fact, it can be quite quick. Now, in class today, actually, Adriano Tam sort of watched what I was doing and then told me that he has a faster way of doing it, and he showed me, and he was absolutely right. So I'm going to show you what he showed me. So basically, the next window is going to be 850 millimeters in width. So that's another 240 millimeters wider. So basically, we just want to copy all these windows, slide them over, give it some dimensions, such as, I don't know, 1200 millimeters over, something like that. And now we want to use a stretch command. So STR, which is stretch, and let's try that again. STR. Why are you not working? STR, enter. Okay, and what you want to do is just sort of go up and grab sort of that much of the window right there. Okay, and then we're going to click somewhere and just pull it to the side. And we're basically stretching the size of that window. Now we only need it to go 240 millimeters, so 240, enter. Done, sort of. Okay, the only two windows that don't work in this situation are the casement window and the slider window, but we can easily go in there and sort of modify these. I just get rid of that. I'm going to stretch this over to the side and this one over to the edge, and then again pull it sort of into there, 25 if I want to symbolize that it's got one fixed edge. I'm going to draw a line going down the center, and if we look here, we kept to keep it consistent, this lower panel was on the inside there, so we're going to use the trim command, sort of trim that off right there and trim that side off right there. Looks beautiful. And then we go up to the top right here, and we're just going to delete that. And or we could redraw it, or we could just grab something like this and stretch it up. So that's going to stretch up 240. And if I click on that, I can now go over to well, I can't select both. If I just click on the arc, you can see that somewhere over here it should tell us the radius right there, 855.2, which is all messed up right now, so it should have a radius of 840, and that did not work. Okay, so let's just redraw that then. Let's make sure that this line is 850, sorry, 850, and I'll just use my start and radius. Start, and the end was right there, and the radius was right there. Okay, and that is done. Thank you, Adriano. Okay, so now that I've stretched out those fixed windows on the bottom to all the required sizes, I copied those up from this layer right here and moved them up to this layer right here. And then I just modified them slightly to make them sort of a combination window. So part of it will be fixed and part of it will be either a single hung or double hung or whatever style it happens to be. It can also end up being single hung on both sides, but basically it's like putting two windows together. And we need this separation in the window right here. We need another part of the frame providing support down the middle of the window, and it also reduces the size of the glass as glass that's moving, that's, you know, that was happened to be like 1.8 meters wide. That would be nearly impossible for somebody to open that up. Okay, so it'd just be too heavy and a little bit too dangerous as well, with chances of breaking it or just, you know, somebody hurting themselves because of the sheer weight of it. Okay, so I'll do the double hung ones here for you. So essentially what I did was I just copied all these ones on the bottom and I moved them up And I think I was trying to keep with a consistent spacing, so 2000 in this case. And now what we're going to do is we're just going to take this middle bar right here and move it over. Okay, so I'm just going to a middle frame. So I'm just going to copy that right there, grab it in the midpoint, and just place it at the midpoint right here. Okay, now because it's a double hung, then all these lines right here need to go into that point right there, showing that it is not fixed on the frame and those panels can move. Okay, so on the 1570, now essentially like 850 is getting close to the biggest window that we would be moving, you know, like definitely you wouldn't want to be any more than about a meter. Okay, so anything that is greater than 1 meter would be sort of split up. Okay, so again with this one, I'm just going to copy that frame over, grab it in the middle and place it in the middle. Okay, and just really quickly slide these grips over, and you want to make sure you have the perpendicular on so that it's easy to snap right to that side of the frame. Good. For the 1810, if I split that in half, we're looking at about 905, which is pretty close to the 950 and under that 1 meter. So with this one, again, I could just do the exact same thing that I was doing before. Grab it at the midpoint, place it at the midpoint, and then select those 3 lines and move the grip points over. Do it on the other side. And zooming in and out is definitely going to make this a lot easier. Okay, now when we get into the 2170, splitting it in half, we're getting to the point where those panels of glass are getting too big to make this into a two panel combination window. So we're going to go to a 3. Now we'll stick with this size right down here, which is 610. And if we look right here, if I was to move this sort of frame over, if I just use the line command and I was to move it from here to that point, notice that it's over 660 because you're going to be moving it the 610 spacing plus the width of the frame itself. Okay, so we're going to move these over 660. So I'm just going to go over to this one down here, and I'm going to use the copy function again, and I'll take this one and just slide it over that way, 660. And I'll do the same thing with this side, and again slide it over that way, 660. So now we basically have a 3-panel piece of glass, and I will go into here and once again move these grip points over here to symbolize that that window is able to slide up and down on that side. Now the one in the middle here, that's going to be a fixed panel, and this would be an opening and this would be an opening, but it can also be 3 panels that open up. Okay, so this could be 3 panels. If I wanted to say that this middle one was fixed, I'd probably leave it like that. If I want to sort of show that it was 3 sort of double hungs, so all 3 of these could open up, again, I would sort of want to take these 3 lines and sort of trim them out of the middle there. So I can just say TR, and I can just basically go in there and trim that and trim that right there. Okay, and that now shows that both those would open. So same with this one here. I would trim that one. I would trim that one. And I would trim that one. Okay, and that's showing that all those panels will open. So what would we do down here? Well, with this one here, I would just trim that bottom one right there to show that it can open, and the other ones are fixed in place. Okay, with the double panel one, and this is on the single hung that I'm working on right here. On the double panel one right here, I could again sort of show that all three of them are able to open. Or if I wanted a fixed one, again, what I would sort of do is take this and slide it into here, 25, and slide this one into there, 25. Okay, so that's showing that we have a fixed panel. Okay, and again, it's just symbolic of what type of window it is. When they're actually ordering and installing the windows, there will be a much more detailed drawing and lots of information that is specific to that window size and the style of that window. So all these little details right here, they're quite minor, but sometimes little details are very important in showing your care and attention to something. So I'm going to do the same thing here with this one, where I'm going to take this and trim it. Okay, and I will extend those inwards 25. Okay, and I'll do the other one here on my own. And now when we get to this larger window right here, 2560, I could use the 610, that's fine, and have a bigger piece in the middle, which allows for a greater view. Or I could, if I wanted a larger opening window, I could go with the 850. But I'm just going to keep everything standard here, so I'm just going to go copy that over 610, and again copy that one over 610. And with this one, that piece in the middle is definitely getting too big, so this one is the double hung, so I'd be going like this, grabbing those three grip points, moving it over to here. Come on. I do the same thing on the very far side. And then I would end up just trimming what's in between here. And then this one now I would be able to move over 25. Okay, I'm assuming we'd probably be able to use that stretch command. So STR, I mean. Let's try it again. STR, those three things. That way, no, it doesn't like that. Let me just try 25. No. There's probably a better way to do this than grabbing all three grips, but I'll leave it up to you guys to try and see if you can figure that out. Okay, and that's showing that that one is fixed, and same with this one right here. I can grab that over 25, 25, and 25. Okay, and there we have it. All we want to do is just make sure that they are properly drawn and representative of the types of windows they are as best as possible. Alright, so here's all my completed windows, and as you're going through this process, you'll probably find little tricks and different techniques or using different commands that are going to help you complete this task quicker than some of the ways that I showed you. So as I was completing them, I started using some mirroring functions and some copying functions, and just double checking which one I could copy up that would give me the least amount of work modifying it. Okay, and yeah, everything looks really great. Those are supposed to be a dashed line. Why are you not dashed? Oh, it says it is, just not showing up. Right there. Definitely doesn't seem dashed, does it? Dashed line and 5. Anyways, I'll go through and see why that isn't looking like that. Sometimes after you just do it, it doesn't show up, and sort of got to jump out to like a model like this or something and check it out. Yeah, so you can see they are dashed right there. Those are looking great. Happy with the process. Happy with the results. Good luck.